Hey, what's going on, guys? Greg here today, and I'm bringing you a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 gameplay commentary. You guys will be watching a little bit of 74U gameplay here in the background. This is a good gun, but I don't think it's overpowered by any means or something special because, while it does have some really good time to kill up close, it does struggle down longer ranges, and therefore, it's kind of a gun that has... It's basically like a submachine gun with good bullet velocity, extended initial damage range, but once it comes down to the longest of ranges, you're really going to struggle, as that's how they balanced out this weapon. So I think it's a solid weapon, but it's nothing really all that crazy. Anyways, moving on to the gameplay here in the background, today we're going to be talking about positioning as well as some other things about staying alive longer and all that kind of stuff, so you guys can go on longer kill streaks and maybe even get some nukes, and you guys will see in the gameplay in the background how I get my own MGB here in this gameplay. Anyways, moving on, let's go ahead and break down a little clip here I want to talk to you guys about from Apex Legends, actually, because I want to show you guys positioning in terms of gunfights, but Apex Legends is just such a great example for positioning because it has gunfights that are drawn out. The gunfights in Apex Legends are not 100-some milliseconds due to the extremely fast time to kill nature of Call of Duty, and they have actually around a second of a time to kill in the theoretical time to kill, which means most gunfights are even going to take longer than a second. So that's why I want to show you guys this quick Apex Legends clip, so that way I can explain to you guys positioning in that kind of level, and then we will translate it to Call of Duty. So let's get right into it. So here we are playing a little bit of Apex Legends, and as you guys can see, I'm pretty much ready for a fight, as I know there's people here. Now, I'm in an open field, so I'm going to go ahead and hug this little container here, and the reason I'm hugging this container is I could jiggle peek around it, and I don't want to overextend too much because I'll take a lot of shots. I get some cracks in, and these guys are going to have to heal, and they're a little bit weak, so I'm going to go ahead and start pushing up. I decided to stow my weapon so I get a little bit faster mobility as I'm pushing around this corner, and you guys are going to see that I'm trying to look for these enemies. However, it turns out there was actually a third party nearby us, so I'm going to go ahead and jump up here, and you guys are going to see that they started taking shots at us. So I figured the best thing I need to do right now is I need to go ahead and take these guys out because we're in a pinch. We are in between two teams, and there is something that needs to be done. I ashport up top because they're not going to be expecting that, and I go ahead and get some shots in, hugging cover. As you can see, I take one out because I dealt a lot of damage in the fight. She's going to go ahead and retreat. Now I'm trying to jiggle peek this guy over the top of a piece of cover here, and I'm able to get some cheeky shots in and 1v2 this little squad. But I want you to soak in the decision-making that I am making here whenever I am pushing this second squad. As I'm trying to look for them, I get 2 shots in, and most of the damage I took was actually from the previous squad. So I go ahead and I take him out as he tries to retreat, and now you can see I'm trying to look for another player, get a different angle. Bloodhound's here, he's looking at me, and I'm going to go ahead and get some shots in on him, and I'm going to go ahead and re-jump over top and try to get some more shots in because I have flesh instead of armor, which means I'm going to be taking flinch damage. As you guys can see, I go ahead and take him out, and that's how I'm able to win the gunfight. So how do we translate this back to Call of Duty? Well, Call of Duty is a game where you die in milliseconds, 150 milliseconds. So the skill gap isn't necessarily during the gunfight, but it's rather how you are going to engage your enemies and try to take them out. And since you kill people in literally blazing fast, 150 milliseconds on average, or 200 milliseconds, whatever it is, we're talking about fractions of a second here, guys. So what I generally do is I position myself based off of that information, and I'm going to try to put myself into a fight where I know that I have the advantage based off cover, as well as enemies trying to peek me, and, they're going to have to expose a lot of their body, and, I'll try to use cover. Cover is extremely important in Call of Duty because if you are standing in the open, you will get incinerated and melted compared to a player who is on cover. Now, I'm not saying you have to sit on a head glitch all game, but what I am saying is you should be moving around trying to use different pieces of cover to your advantage. You guys can see a lot of the time I am peeking angles to where I think my body is not going to be exposed that much, and that is basically how I'm positioning myself. I'm always trying to position myself based off of how I think I am going to be the most covered. And how you guys can get a feel for this is try to think of it in the perspective of if your enemy's looking at you, how much of your body is going to be exposed. Think of the camera angle that you are at. As you can see right here, I'm quick peeking and I'm always trying to get back behind cover or trying to reposition. As you can see, as I am peeking somebody, the amount of angle that is exposed on my screen, right, is generally to the right or left of me, and there is always a piece of cover nearby so I can quickly go behind it if I need to, And generally, I'll go ahead and drop to the floor if I have to, or I will do something else in order to throw off my opponent if they decide to chase me, and let's say if I'm not necessarily winning that gunfight, right? So I will go ahead and try to do something else to outplay my enemy if I feel that I am going to be losing that gunfight. Yes, you are still able to escape gunfights in Call of Duty, just like Apex Legends, but it's a lot harder, especially if your enemies have a good shot. So as you guys can see right here, I'm playing some angles because I'm close to this nuke and I want to get this nuke, and I'm kind of just chilling up here. There's only one way these enemies can actually reach me, and it's by going through these stairs here or trying to take me off on an off angle. So I know I'm safe here for now, especially because I haven't given away my location. And now I'm going to switch it up because I did just shoot there recently, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate around based off this UAV, trying to get some creative angles in on these enemies that are pinging on the radar. So you guys can see right here, I'm sitting on this piece of cover, and now I think there's a guy below me. He's close on the radar, so I'm kind of just looking at that, basically trying to use the stairs and how it's positioned as a piece of cover. And that's basically the way I play Call of Duty, is all about cover. So for you guys out there that are struggling a lot, try to get creative angles into your gunfights and try to hug every piece of cover possible. And it doesn't, like I said, doesn't mean you have to be head glitch. Cover is not always head glitch. It's strafing cover, right? Wiggling back and forth between cover as you are aiming, using your left thumbstick or WASD on your keyboard. So that is the way that I am always doing that. And right now I'm just trying to have these guys funnel to me, especially because no teammates are around. So I'm still just locking down this position, especially because the enemies are spawning out behind me. And the reason I'm looking at the floor here instead of looking center is because I am trying to pre-aim the stairs. That's another thing, is I'm always trying to pre-aim an area where I think the enemies are going to be coming from, and I always try to center my crosshair based off of where I am wanting to aim. So as you guys can see right here, I pick up another kill, I go ahead and get my MGB, and that is my tips for staying alive a lot longer. You're going to want to go to funnel spots, you're going to want to go to areas that have a lot of cover that you can play around, and you're going to want to try to position yourself based off of your teammates' position on the radar, as well as where you believe your enemies are going to be spawning at based off of those positions. If you guys want to know how to read spawns a little bit easier, every single time you die and you spawn back in, pay attention to where you spawn, and then quickly look at your radar to see where your teammates are at, because that will help you learn the squad spawn system, and that means it's also going to be working that way for your enemies. Hopefully this short little video helps you guys out into thinking about how you guys can incorporate and cover into your gameplay and trying to have creative angles based off of your positioning. It's really a game of just trying to hug cover and trying to have the least amount of your body exposed, as you'll be able to stay alive a lot longer, give yourself the best advantage in every gunfight, so that way you're not just getting incinerated as we die in 3 bullets here in Call of Duty. Anyways, drop a rating on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.